I wasn't going to make a video today. Now, you're watching this and you're probably thinking, okay, well that didn't work too well, or maybe it did. So let's talk a little bit more about that. What is going on, everybody? If you're new around here, my name is Finn Badgley. I'm a commercial fashion and portrait photographer, and yes, I was not going to film a video today. But here's the thing. I sat there and I went through my book of ideas, flipping through, and everything that I had that I'm going to film in the future, or any ideas that I've shot in the past, nothing really resonated with me as far as what I wanted to create today. And it's a weird feeling that we all have, especially when part of our profession is being creative. It's this idea of, at a certain point, are you forcing yourself to be creative? To what end? And obviously this feeling is different for different people, but from what I've seen, at the top, at the bottom, this feeling kind of goes through everyone. Everyone kind of has this similar feeling at some point. And especially now that so many of us are spending so much time inside, it seems this feeling is coming up more and more. There's this loss of connection and this feeling of isolation. It just makes everybody less motivated and less creative. And in sitting with this thought, that's kind of when I thought, well, if I'm having this kind of debate going through my head, trying to figure out what to shoot, how can I provide value to all of you today? It was something that I thought, well, maybe some of you are struggling with as well. Something where you're waking up and you look through any ideas that you have and nothing really fits right. Now, tomorrow, one of those ideas might be perfect and you might have all the drive to do it, but for some reason today it just doesn't fit. And it might not necessarily be burnout, but it might lead to it. I think what it comes down to is this idea of making content for somebody else versus for yourself, and that you need to have a healthy balance of both. And we can get trapped into the idea of creating content that people want to see and not creating for ourselves. This is why whenever I go on large photo shoots or anything of that nature where I'm hired by a client or anything, that I always try to get a couple photos in there for me. This is the kind of idea that keeps that creative juice flowing for me, so I never really feel burnt out there. But here I got into a bit of a different trap where I started creating content that I thought everyone wanted to see. And by and large, that might be true, but at a certain point, maybe I didn't think about what I wanted to see. If we've been around on YouTube and we're in the creator space, we've probably heard the idea of the one for them, one for me, I believe coined by Siradici. And this is something that, especially when I started this, even though I've only been doing it a couple months, something that I kind of wanted to hold true to. And lately, it hasn't been as true. And I could have sat there and recorded a video sharing some tips or anything like that, but I felt today it would be disingenuous. Now, all the other times I've been very excited to share these tips, and don't get me wrong, in the future I'm going to be very excited. But today I felt like sharing something different, sharing something a little more personal and showing a different side of myself, maybe in hopes to humanize myself a little bit, not just a photo tip firing out machine. And I think it's also important to note that during these times where you take time for yourself and just allow yourself to breathe a little bit, that sometimes you get your best ideas. Like I said, I wasn't really going to make a video today because I looked through my book and I couldn't find any ideas that excited me on this very day. But then I thought about it And through that, I got the idea to make this very video, just completely off the cuff, no script, no bullet points, nothing like that, just me talking directly to you. Maybe just when you think you're out of ideas and you don't know what else to create, that is when a spark will happen and you will do something amazing. This is why it's so important for us creators to just take time for ourselves, nurture the things that make you happy in life, nurture your passion, and create something amazing when you're ready to. And you will know because you won't be able to stop yourself from making it. I don't know if any of you are struggling with this kind of idea of imposter syndrome that it seems all creatives, anyone who creates any sort of art or anything on any level, deals with from the very top to the very bottom. And it may be this kind of idea that nobody really wants to hear what you have to say, but maybe you're wrong and maybe it's something that's worth saying. And maybe this was just to get it off my chest and nobody will see this, or who knows what will happen. But no matter what, I think it's always important to keep in mind that as much as you create for everyone else, remember to create for yourself. This is as much a video for me as it is for you. It's always important to keep this idea in your head and nurture your creativity and not grinding it to the bone. Because if you can keep yourself from getting in that trap of just creating to create without really any purpose, then I think you'll be able to create a lot more meaningful content and you'll be able to carry that on a lot longer. Like I said, that's why I've never really felt this way whenever I'm taking photos or anything like that, because I always make sure to get a couple shots in there that are just for me. No matter what the project is, I always want to make sure that I can go back there and have something that I look at and I'm very proud of, and I always put my heart into everything I do. And I want that to come across not only in the photos, but also to whoever I'm producing those photos for. And I think while as passionate as I am about sharing my love and knowledge for photography, I also need to share that it's not always the bright side. And there's some feelings that I'm sure you're having that all of us have. And this is kind of a bit of a note to let you know that maybe you're not alone in all this. And this is a giant community of creators who all kind of feels the same way, but nobody really wants to talk about it. And so everybody just kind of gets bogged down and sometimes people just stop. And that's not what I'm trying to have happen. And I'm trying to help you guys from going down that path. So maybe this is just a reminder to check in with yourself and see if there's anything that you can create that can really make you happy, or if you can just take a pause and not force yourself to create something when you're not feeling up to it. Make sure to rest your body, rest your mind, and don't work yourself into the ground, especially when you hear all this talk of working 24/7, hustle, hustle, hustle. Remember to take time and check in with yourself, take time for yourself, and really nurture that, because it is just as important as putting in the work. Because if you're so tired and burnt out that you can't do that, then what is this all for? Just a couple thoughts today, not to kind of switch up the mood or anything like that. Just kind of wanted to check in with you guys and maybe have a relatable moment here. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value out of it. And if you've been struggling with these kind of imposter syndrome ideas, that you are not alone. All of us creatives are going through a very similar thing, and it's important to remember that we're all in this together. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, drop a comment if you like this kind of thing. If you maybe want to see more kind of personal videos from me in the future, subscribe if you haven't already. hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and as always, I will see you on the next one.